It was my daughter Lily's 10th birthday party, and the backyard was filled with laughter and balloons. My mother-in-law Patricia was there, as usual, holding court with the other adults, a frosty smile plastered on her face. That's when she gathered all the grandchildren around, except Lily, and presented them each with a brand new iPhone. She looked directly at Lily and said, "These are for my real grandchildren." I should have seen it coming, the way she always subtly favored the other grandkids, but that moment changed everything. Hi everyone, I'm Sarah, and I'm still reeling from the events that unfolded after that birthday party. It's been a long and difficult journey, but I'm finally ready to share my story. Let me know in the comments where you're listening from. I find comfort knowing I'm not alone. Patricia had been living with us rent-free for almost 2 years. My husband, David, insisted it was the right thing to do. His mother was getting older, he argued, and we had the space. Besides, he said it would be good for Lily to have her grandmother around. I loved David and trusted his judgment, so I agreed. The trouble started subtly, little digs here and there, always under the guise of helpful advice. My cooking wasn't up to her standards. My parenting was too lenient. My clothes were, well, let's just say they weren't Patricia approved. I tried to brush it off to be the bigger person, but her constant criticism wore me down. Then came the favoritism with the grandchildren. Patricia had 3 other grandchildren from David's brother. They could do no wrong in her eyes. Lily, on the other hand, was always held to a different standard. She was clumsy, according to Patricia, too loud, not as bright as the others.
The iPhone incident was the tipping point. After Patricia handed out the phones, Lily came running to me, tears streaming down her face. "Mummy, Grandma doesn't think I'm real family," she sobbed. My heart shattered. I marched over to Patricia, my voice shaking with anger. "How could you say something like that to her? She's your granddaughter." Patricia simply shrugged. "Well, dear, you know how I feel. Lily isn't quite like the others." That's when I lost it. "Get out," I said, my voice trembling. "Get out of my house." David overheard the commotion and rushed over. "What's going on?" "Your mother just gave iPhones to all the grandkids except Lily and told her she wasn't real family," I explained, my voice rising. "I want her out of here, David, now." To my surprise, David hesitated. "Sarah, be reasonable. Where is she supposed to go?" "I don't care," I screamed. "She can go anywhere, as long as it's not here. She's hurting our daughter." That was the beginning of a long and painful rift between David and me. He insisted his mother needed us, that she had nowhere else to go. I argued that Lily's emotional well-being was more important. We fought constantly, the tension in our house, thick enough to cut with a knife. I felt like I was losing him. He was choosing his mother over his own child. I started documenting Patricia's behavior. It felt petty, I know, but I needed to prove to David what was happening. I kept a journal, detailing every snide remark, every instance of favoritism. I even started tracking her spending. David had given Patricia access to his debit card for emergencies, but she was using it to fund a lavish lifestyle. Designer clothes, expensive jewelry, weekly spa treatments. I was shocked when I tallied it up. She had spent over $1,600 in the past month alone, but that wasn't the worst part. One afternoon, I received a call from Child Protective Services. They informed me they were investigating an anonymous complaint alleging neglect and emotional abuse in our home. My blood ran cold. They asked about Lily's living conditions, her emotional state, and my relationship with Patricia. I answered their questions honestly, but the whole experience left me shaken. Who would make such a claim, and why? It didn't take long to figure it out. A few days later, I overheard Patricia on the phone with her friend, gleefully recounting the visit from CPS. I told them all about how Sarah neglects Lily and how I have to step in to care for her, she cackled. "It's time someone taught that girl a lesson."
She was deliberately trying to destroy my family. That night I told David everything: the iPhone incident, the spending, the CPS investigation. I showed him my journal, the bank statements, everything. He listened quietly, his face growing paler with each revelation. "I can't believe she would do this," he said finally, his voice barely a whisper. "Believe it," I replied, my voice hard. "And now, you need to choose, David. Me and Lily, or your mother." He didn't answer, he just stared at the floor, lost in thought. I knew then that I had to take matters into my own hands. I decided to install security cameras throughout the house. It felt like an invasion of privacy, but I needed irrefutable proof of Patricia's behavior. It was an investment of about $400, but it felt necessary. At first, nothing much happened.
The cameras captured the usual mundane activities of daily life. Then, one afternoon, I saw something that made my stomach churn. I was at work, checking the camera feed on my phone during my lunch break, when I saw Patricia and Lily by the pool. Lily was playing with a toy, and Patricia was sitting on a lounge chair, watching her with a strange expression on her face. Suddenly, Patricia stood up and walked over to Lily. Before I could react, she shoved Lily into the pool. Lily went under, gasping for air. Patricia stood there, watching, not making a move to help her. Thankfully, Lily managed to scramble to the side of the pool and pull herself out, coughing and crying. Patricia just glared at her. "Serves you right, clumsy child," she muttered. I was shaking with rage. I immediately called David and told him to come home. He arrived within 15 minutes, his face etched with worry. "What is it? What's wrong?" he asked. I didn't say a word. I just pulled up the security footage on my phone and handed it to him. He watched in silence, his eyes widening with horror as he saw his mother push his daughter into the pool. When the video ended, he looked up at me, his face ashen. I don't know what to say," he stammered. "Say you believe me," I said, my voice trembling. "Say you finally see what your mother is really like." "I believe everything." That night, after Lily was asleep, David sat Patricia down in the living room. I stood beside him, my heart pounding in my chest. "Mom," David said, his voice firm, "we know everything. We know about the iPhones, the spending, the CPS investigation, and what you did to Lily at the pool." Patricia's face flushed with anger. "You believe her lies?" she spat, pointing at me.
David shook his head. "We saw the security footage, Mom. There's no denying it." Patricia's composure crumbled. "She's trying to turn you against me," she wailed. "She's always been jealous of our relationship." "There is no relationship," David said, his voice cold. "You've been manipulating and hurting us for years. It's over. I want you to leave," I said, my voice trembling but firm. "I want you out of our house, out of our lives." Patricia stared at us, her eyes filled with hatred. "You'll regret this," she hissed. "You'll both regret this." The next morning, Patricia packed her bags and left. It was a moment of profound relief, but also deep sadness. I had hoped, for David's sake, that we could have a normal, loving relationship with his mother. But it was clear that was never going to happen. I thought that was the end of it, but I was wrong. Patricia wasn't done with us yet. She took to social media, launching a smear campaign against me. She posted lies about my parenting, my marriage, my character. She painted me as a horrible, neglectful mother and a controlling, manipulative wife. At first, I was devastated. Her words stung, and I felt ashamed and exposed. But then I realized I couldn't let her win. I had to fight back. I decided to share my side of the story. I posted the security footage of Patricia pushing Lily into the pool. I shared my journal entries, the bank statements, and the messages from CPS. I told the truth, and I let the evidence speak for itself. The response was overwhelming. Friends, family,
Even strangers rallied to our support. They condemned Patricia's behavior and praised my courage for speaking out. David's brother and his wife, who had initially been skeptical, reached out to apologize.
They had seen Patricia's manipulative side, they admitted, but they hadn't realized the extent of it. David was my rock through it all. He stood by my side, defending me against Patricia's attacks and offering unwavering support. He finally understood the depth of her toxicity and the damage she had inflicted on our family. We decided to sell all the expensive gifts Patricia had bought for us over the years. The designer clothes, the jewelry, the spa certificates, we sold it all. We used the money to plan a special vacation for Lily, a chance for her to heal and to create happy memories. We went to Disney World, her dream destination. We spent our days riding roller coasters, meeting characters, and laughing together. It was exactly what we needed. A few months later, we received a call from David's brother. Patricia had been exhibiting increasingly erratic behavior. She was paranoid, delusional, and often incoherent. After several consultations with doctors, she was diagnosed with a severe form of dementia. She was committed to a nursing home, where she could receive the care she needed. It was a sad ending, but in a way, it was also a relief. Patricia was no longer able to inflict harm on our family. We could finally move on and rebuild our lives. David and I grew closer than ever. We learned to communicate more effectively, to trust each other completely, and to prioritize our family above all else. We made a conscious effort to create a loving and supportive environment for Lily, one where she felt safe, valued, and cherished. One evening, as I tucked Lily into bed, she looked up at me with her big, bright eyes. "Mommy," she said, "I'm so glad Grandma is gone. I feel so much happier now." My heart swelled with love for her. "Me too, sweetie," I said. "Me too." And that's when I realized that sometimes the most difficult experiences can lead to the greatest growth. Patricia's actions had caused us immense pain, but they had also forced us to confront our own weaknesses, to strengthen our bond, and to create a new beginning for our family. Some people try to break families. Others rebuild them from the ashes. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to our channel for more such stories.